fabric from the land of the five rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
The Raiders are a really interesting team. We don't love the ownership, but they have a new front office, a new coach from New England.
If Josh McDaniels don't turn the team around this year, it's to be fired.
Not a lot has gone right for the Raiders under this regime.
They're doing what they do best. They are trying to lose. They should probably find a new hobby because it is going to be a disaster.
We back. Appreciate everybody coming through, man. Hey, it's that time. It's that time of the week, man. Tomorrow is game day, and we're here to talk about the game, Raiders Bears. And there's a new starter this week, and it's not who we thought. Actually, I called it out. I just want to, hey,
I'll take your roses.
I'm just saying. Hey, last show on Tuesday, I called it out. I said I have this funny feeling that I feel like Josh McDaniels wanted to go with Hoyer, especially after he came in there and it felt like the offense was a lot smoother with Hoyer in there. He didn't score any touchdowns. That wasn't an improvement, but it just seemed like he was able to hit multiple receivers and it just felt like everybody was involved. The offense kind of looked a little bit better, smoother compared to all the other quarterbacks. I think that being said, I wanted AOC to be out there, but I just knew that I think McDaniels and Daisy, they feel the heat right now. So they're going to start making moves, start coaching in a way where they feel the pressure right now, in my opinion. And, man, before I even get into all that, let's get into the chat, man. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. As usual, we're going live on both our channels, so you want to support both of us, man, if you can. But Daniel Kim, one of our mods, has a special announcement, man. He says, yo, celebrate my oldest son's birthday with my side of the family. I'll jump back as soon as I can. Raiders, I got you, man. Happy birthday, man. Celebrate that,
man. We got my cousin here.
Hey,
this was who I was at his wedding. That's why I missed the show.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Brandon Marcus Ray, man. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
got
I appreciate
family
you
in the
for
building, man.
tuning in, brother. Congratulations on the marriage. Everybody, if you guys can, shout him out. Give him a congratulations for the marriage. I'm happy for you, man.
Hey, that's dope, man.
DeMarcus Webb is in the building. What's good, nation? What's going on, DeMarcus?
Was good. We got Nick 209. I hope we win with Hoyer. Let's see what this staff is made of. Yeah. Hey, now he's had the Jimmy G's where he a guy that he drafted, a guy that he is 100% behind. And by the way, I'm here. Jimmy G. I heard Jimmy G is going to be coming back week 8. So Raider fans don't.
Okay, so I called that one. I said they're going to get him healthy enough to go out there and play against Detroit because Josh McDaniels feels that Jimmy Garoppolo gives this team the best chance to win, and they're gonna make sure that he's as good to go as possible heading into that Detroit Lion game. So
I don't know how. I don't know what about Jimmy G right now. I guess he believes in Jimmy G. I get it. He was part of that Patriots regime that drafted him, and
that's his guy, man.
That's his guy. But I'm just like, what is he seeing that we're not seeing?
He thinks they could get it done. That's it. They've got this connection, man. They think they can hook up with it, and well, I mean, they haven't yet, but we'll see. And hey, look, full disclosure, I'm not gonna be negative Nancy this show. I had to get it out of my system last week. I'd let you guys know how I feel, but today it's going to be on a more positive note. We're going to be breaking down football, how the Raiders can pull out a win.
No. Hey, not to cut you off, man. Hey, if you're negative, you're positive. Just be real at the end of the day. Like, hey, we're all fans of the team. People watching the Raiders, obviously watching the show. We're all fans of the team. But sometimes you got to call it how you see it. And if you're not agreeing with something, we got to let it be known. We can't just be positive just to be positive. We'll be positive when it's time to do that. But at the same time, hey, there's going to be a time where we're going to have to tough love, man. Hey, the Raiders, if they're struggling, if they're not doing what we want them to do on the field, because we're fans of the team, we take the time to watch the game and we want to see a good product out there. And if we're not seeing it, hey, we want the best, man. We want the Raiders to be the best team in the NFL. That sounds crazy right now, but that's exactly what we want to see. So we're gonna keep real.
One thing that we don't do is we don't ear tickle. You know what I mean? I'm not just gonna come on here and excite you every week just to let you down. So if I see flaws, if I see a hole, you're ear tickling, man. I'm not gonna just tell you what you want to hear. So sometimes it's gonna be harsh criticism. And if this coaching staff wants to get better and the Raider Nation wants to be more educated and actually see the flaws with the strengths that are going on, well, you got to be open to it. And sometimes correction is tough.
Yeah. No doubt, without a doubt. And we got Raider Tiger in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. He also says, I don't like it. This was a perfect game to start AOC. If things went bad, Hoyer was the emergency. Yeah, without a doubt. I thought it was a perfect game too. I mean, it's not like the Bears are this elite football team. This is valuable experience that you can give to a rookie QB that can, you never know, possibly might be the guy, might not, who knows. But right now, like I said, McDaniels feels the heat. He feels the pressure to win some games so he can come back next year, so he can draft possibly the next QB have another draft class. So he's gonna go with veterans. A lot of coaches, that's just this, I guess it's the truth that a lot of fans we can't accept, is that sometimes we'll be excited to want to throw the young guy out there, but a lot of these coaches, they want veterans, man. And I'm not sure if AOC has full, I guess I'm not sure if he has a full grasp of that playbook compared to a Brian Hoyer who's played in that offense his whole career, so he feels way more comfortable out there. And hopefully he balls out, because we'll get into it, man. The Raiders Bears preview is coming up in a second, and we just want to salute to the chat, man. AJ Simpson says they better do something at this trade deadline. I think they do. What are your thoughts on that?
I think they do too. I don't know how sexy of a name it's going to be. I sent you a name a few days ago for you to tune in and check out, a talented defensive tackle that's buried on the Eagles depth chart. But I hope it's for guys like that, man. Some young upside who might not be getting a ton of burn right now. That way you're not giving up a ton of capital. But if you do, make sure you're getting the guy. You know what I mean? Make sure it's a Brian Burns. I know a lot of people are throwing the name Leonard Williams out there. And look, I get it. I would say that the production hasn't quite been there the last 2 years. If you're going to go give up, either a player or hire in capital, even a third round pick, second round pick. But look, man, he would come in here and probably be the best defensive tackle. I would rather go younger and get the upside player than go with a 28, 29-year-old defensive tackle. But we'll see.
Well, what's the point of trading in the middle of the day? I could see, hey, man, if we can get a young player that's on the up and up and be productive, I think that's every front office and coaching dream. But at the end of the day, like when you're making a trade in midseason, you're trying to be aggressive so you could win now. So to be honest with you, that list, there's a few options out there. There's a few veterans out there. I talked to you behind the scenes, and I've said it on the show too as well. Is, man, if a Leonard Williams is available, a D tackle, a guy who grew up a Raider fan, who's been productive with Patrick Graham led defense. I know we're just throwing it out there. I'm not sure if he's going to be available, but the Giants are losing, and the more more teams lose. Look at these losing teams. A lot of the players are going to be more available during trade deadline because they're going to let's just blow this up and rebuild. So hopefully the Raiders can upgrade. But let's get into it, man. We got DeMarc. We appreciate. Hey, DeMarcus, man, I appreciate this comment, man. We appreciate both of your passion efforts, Ray and Farrell. Never apologize. We just want those W's. Yeah, no doubt, man. Appreciate that, man.
Do you think Leonard Williams? Not to cut you off. Do you think Leonard Williams at this point in his career is the right move, especially with that contract?
Salute to Dirty Elo, man. Appreciate you coming through. Dirty Low was good, man. Go ahead.
Do you think that Leonard Williams is the right move at his age and production right now, and with the contract that he would come with?
Well, he's on an expiring deal. So this is his last year on the deal. So the Raiders kid, let him play out this year. If he's a productive player, he might be a player that you want to bring back and solidify that inside once and for all. Because what have Raider Nation? We've been complaining about the inside, that interior D line for years now. So if we can get someone that can play well in there, and then maybe have some of these young guys take their time and develop, hey, that's to me, that's a good scenario in my opinion. But right now, he's on his last year's deal. I know his contract is, I think he's getting paid $18 million this year. Don't quote me on that. He's getting paid, but that's why when they negotiate trades, they can talk to teams and see okay, can you take part of this salary to make this trade happen? And would you take a Leonard Williams for, let's say, a 4th round pick?
Yeah, before your camera went out, I kind of said I want to give up too much capital for him because I just don't know where he's at this point in his career.
Yeah.
Obviously, the last 2 years haven't been very productive. But I said I would give up, I'm not even really comfortable giving up a 3rd round pick. But if you're talking about a 4th, maybe a 5th and a depth, I don't know. I don't know what that deal would take, to be honest with you. But I don't know. That move is tough for me. You know what I mean? I get it, though. I get where you're coming from. I just don't think I'm as high on him as I once was. I love that he's a Raider fan. I think he could come in here under Patrick Graham where he had the best years of his career.
Yeah.
Get back to that, hopefully. I mean, if they believe that could happen,
he's a type of player that Patrick Graham values. Versatility. He can play inside. He can play outside. He still has a little bit of quickness where you can throw him outside in certain looks. So, he grew up a Raider fan. So, that, he goes to a team that he grew up, love it. And you put him with Max Crosby. You're not telling him to be the guy. You're telling him to win your one-on-ones because Max Crosby is the elite guy. That's what I'm saying. But, he's just another guy out there. I'm not saying it's, that's the guy that the Raiders should target and that's the only guy. I'm sure there's other people. I know you mentioned the Eagles. I think was it Milton, the D tackle from the Eagles.
Yeah, Milton Williams.
Yeah, Milton Williams. So I could understand that as well. But I think Dave Z, if he's going to make a trade right now, in the middle of the season, he's doing it to win now.
Yeah.
So he's going to look for a player that's going to fit that mold. Now, if that player gives them upside, long term, as far as younger player, of course. But
See, that's where I think Milton falls, and that it's going to take a little bit deeper research to kind of find out who he is. But he's buried on that Eagles defensive line that is stacked. But when he plays, I mean, he had limited snaps and still got 4 sacks as an interior defensive tackle. He's 24 years old. You know, Javon Hargrave wasn't that guy until he was able to come in and get more snaps. It took him time. I think Milton Williams is going to be one of those type of guys that finds a home somewhere around the National Football League. And a lot of people are like, man, where was this guy? It's just right now he's buried on probably the deepest defensive line in the National Football League. So he's 24. He has high upside. If the Raiders did make that move for him, he would come in and probably be the best defensive tackle on the Raiders roster. So, yeah. So that's the direction I would go. But I hear you out on the Leonard Williams one. If it was a 4th-round pick, if it's not a top 100 pick and you can get him for a 4th, a 5th, whatever that cost may be, maybe even a future 4th, yeah, pull the trigger on it and let's see what happens.
In other news, man, hey, I'm doing a little quick reaction. I know I usually do this at the end, but what is all this Davante Adams getting traded? All these rumors that a lot of these writers are trying to come up with because we know Davante Adams likes to be really honest,
right?
But he's a straightforward person. So, and a lot of these writers, these NFL guys are kind of taking it as, oh, okay, that Davante Adams wants out. And now Adam Schefter finally reports that, hey, like, there's no way the Raiders are going to trade Davante Adams. Like, it's now, would I be surprised if Davante Adams wants to trade out of Las Vegas if they don't win and they're going in a opposite direction than where he's trying to go, which is the Super Bowl, to try to win? I could see that. I could understand that. But right now, I don't see it happening right now. He's playing for his childhood team. He grew up with the Raiders. His family's pretty much right around the corner. He's enjoying being with the Raiders right now. He wants to win. He's a competitor. But
I think it would take a disastrous collapse of this season and then going into an off season where maybe there wasn't that much changes, and Davante would probably sit down and be like what you just said, hey, we're going in 2 different directions here. So I think it would take a little bit more. You could tell he's clearly frustrated. And look, it's a lot of, for the reasons what we've been saying for the past couple of weeks, is the innate ability to see downfield, to strike when Davante is clearly wide open. Hunter has been opened, Jacoby, Michael Mayer. There's been a lot of guys who've been open. They just haven't been able to execute at a high level. So we'll see, man. We'll see the progression of this offense. I'm not gonna bury this team. I know last week I was critical, and rightfully so. But let's see if they can progress. You know, we're week 7. There's some exciting games coming up, and let's see if they can start putting together some offense that can put up more than 20 points.
Sean Schefter Johnson says, salute Ray and Furman. Appreciate you coming through. He said Daniel Hunter for a 2nd rounder or a 3rd. He has 80 sacks in 8 seasons, 8 already this season.
I just struggle with edge players right now just because, like, what the whole Tyree Wilson situation.
I do like Daniel Hunter, by the way.
No, I do too. I think he's a great player.
2nd rounder. How old is he? You know,
and I know people are going to be like, "Well, Tyree's not producing right now," but we knew all that. Like, everybody who knew that player, that prospect coming out, like, we knew that he wasn't going to be ready right away. Mm-hmm. So for the Raiders to pull the trigger on, say, a Brian Burns or, you know, a Daniel Hunter, I don't know, man. I don't know long term. You know, I don't know how that would impact the development for him. So,
right,
because he needs snaps. Let's face it, and he is getting better. It's not like he's stayed at the spot where he was at week 1. So,
yeah, I think, man, if I feel like if we target if there's an interior D tackle, pass rushing D tackle that we can get on this team, I think that's going to unlock this D line and make them. Because right now, Max Crosby's playing out of his mind, and I think some of these guys on the D line, they're kind of winning their 1-on-1s now. We're seeing a little bit. Bilal Nichols last game had a really good game. We're seeing guys kind of winning their 1-on-1s. But if you get a really good player and he's going 1-on-1 on a consistent basis, which he is, with Max Crosby on the side, woo, man, come on, man.
Here's the thing, though. I wouldn't be mad at a Brian Burns just because I love the player. You know,
Brian Burns, I wouldn't be mad, but
it goes back to the Tyree, Malcolm Kuntz.
So what's going to happen is if we trade for Brian Burns, which most likely will be for a high draft pick, and on top of that, he's going to want to get paid more than Max Crosby? Are you going to pay him more than Max Crosby?
Oh no.
Like he's gonna because you know how it is.
Yeah.
Every like he's in the same. He's 25 years old, and he's looking to get in his big contract.
You can franchise tag him.
But then that's going to affect the compensation. If we can get like Brian Burns for, let's say, a third, maybe, but I'm not sure. Last year, I heard
you package Hunter Renfrow in like a second, or Hunter Renfrow in like a third.
Does anybody want Hunter Renfrow right now?
Well, they said they want a number one. He's not a number one, but he gives them an option.
I just don't want him to go to like the Chiefs. I seen one of these guys out here like say, Chiefs are hurting that receiver. Hypothetically speaking, a guy like Renfrow would do wonders for that offense.
Yeah, they just got McCole Hardman back.
I hope not. I do not want no Hunter Renfrow because I can see him balling out with Andy Reid and my Patrick Mahomes. You serious? No. Send Hunter Renfrow far.
Hey, Josh
away.
McDaniels knows that. He ain't gonna send them to Kansas City.
I hope not, but
they would be out. They would be out for his firing if it thrived in KC and Hunter Renfrow just started destroying the Raiders and routing everybody up. Oh yeah, right. Josh McDaniels looks terrible.
But they did do business with KC Chiefs earlier in the offseason or in training camp when they traded the D tackle.
I don't think that
Jr.
Yeah, he wasn't going to impact. He's not going to impact like Hunter could impact that team.
Still, you're making a deal with the enemy, so
that's making a deal with the devil.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, man. But yeah, man. Hey, man, we let's get into it, man. It's that time. It's that time of the week, man. The game's tomorrow, but let's get into the injury report. Final injury report was released yesterday. Oh my God, that typo is crazy, but it's annoying the hell out of me right now. But let's show the injury report real quick. Oh, look at that guy right there.
Handsome fella.
A lot of Raider Nation is kind of man. It's funny how like literally everybody's saying the same thing. When everybody's saying the same thing, I'm kind of concerned.
Especially in a space that's pretty divided.
I start questioning, like, you know what? is it right to fire this guy now? We can't fire him right now at this very moment, but man, it is what it is, man. I feel like everybody's on the same page when it comes to Josh McDaniels. But let's get to the injury report. We all know Jimmy G was pretty much, announced that he was not going to play this game like earlier in the week with that back injury. You heard, Josh McDaniels talk about how they missed a huge, like they got a lucky break with it because it could have been really serious.
Right.
So, and they just reported that he's going to be back week 8, which you called like last time we went live. You were like, yeah, they're probably going to prepare him for that Detroit game, the Detroit Lions game, but he's going to be out this game and Hoyer gets to start.
Man, what if Hoyer goes out here and drops 30?
What if Hoyer drops 30? I could see it happening. The reason why I could see it happening is because he has so much at his disposal. You guys don't understand. Like when I look at the Raiders offense, I'm like, what does he have?
It's just
that's why I'm so tough on Jimmy G. Like it's like, bro, like
it's red zone. It's red zone efficiency. We were in the red zone 6 times last week and we converted 1. We were 1 for 6 in the red zone, so that's why.
But you know what though? I'll say this, just to play the other side to it, is that I think the league is kind of struggling with the red zone.
It is
a little bit. It's not just the Raiders. Like the Raiders obviously have had this issue for a while now, so that's why I kind of like we're just sick of it at this point. But this year, I feel like a lot of teams have kind of struggled in the red zone, and maybe that's due to play calling. They're passing more than they should, they should be running. You know what I mean? And then also, let's get back to the injury report. Jacorian Bennett is also out. So
he's been banged up for a minute.
Yeah, so he's not going to be playing. But to be honest with you, he was struggling.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that has to do with him being hurt as well.
That's fair. And then we have Nate Hobbs misses like what, fourth straight game?
Yeah, I think it's fourth
straight game. So that's going to be tough, like with the ankle injury. So we're kind of getting beat up right now. Tyler Hall was listed on the injury report, but he's good to go. So, but Nate Hobbs, he's out pretty much. It's fourth straight game. So hopefully we can get him back soon. That's kind of interesting, man. Is it a high ankle sprain? I think it's a high ankle sprain.
It's got to be relatively bad because he's missing his fourth game. Like that's short-term IR type of time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they probably thought he could come back, but hopefully he'll be ready against a really good team next week against the Lions. But hey, we got a game tomorrow against the Bears. We can't overlook them. And speaking of them, let's look at their injury report. Nate Davis, O-lineman, he's out. Dan Feeney, a guard right there, questionable. Justin Fields, obviously, he's out with a dislocated finger. And they had a few players on at Roscoe Johnson, guy like
Roshan Johnson. I liked him coming out.
Roshan Johnson.
Yeah, Roshan Johnson.
Yeah, he played well in the preseason. He looked. You said he liked him coming out.
Yeah. He was I believe it was Bijan's backup.
Right. And Yannick was named honorary captain this week.
Of course he was.
He has something against the Raiders, man. Out of all the teams that dropped you have something against the Raiders. He must have thought like he was going to be there long term. I think he wanted to. Yeah, man. And he had a good relationship with Max. And I like Unique, but it's just on the football field it just didn't make sense, I guess, for Patrick Graham and that defense and what they were looking for. Especially they want someone to stop the run back there, and Unique was not that guy against the run. So he is good to go. He was on the injury report. Yeah, man, that's pretty much wraps it up.
The tackle one right there, Darnell Wright. That one's interesting.
He's questionable, but I think he'll probably play.
He'll get the nod. Yeah,
he'll probably play. But if he doesn't,
yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a long game.
Max Crosby and company better have a huge game. But yeah, that pretty much that's the final injury report, man. And let's get into it, man. Let's get into the preview. 1 second here. Raiders and Bears preview, man. So what are your thoughts going into this game, man? Playing against
this is a game where Raiders have to find a way to create a lot of positive momentum heading into the Detroit game. So last week we were heavily critical of this offense, rightfully so. I broke it down. 31st ranked rushing offense. I believe we're 27th red zone percentage, 25th overall offense. So these are all things that need to get cleaned up. So going up against Chicago Bears unit that's 1-5 right now, but they are coming off of their best defensive performance of the year last week. So going up against the Minnesota Vikings, they let up 1 touchdown, 12 first downs, and on third down, they were 2 of 13. So they were playing efficient. They were playing tough. So their defensive unit is starting to come into a rhythm a little bit. And, we're starting the former Chicago Bear quarterback in Brian Hoyer. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a little bit closer than what people think and what it probably should be. But overall, man, I think that this is a game where the Raiders have to create a sense of, okay, we can separate ourselves from a few of these teams. So I would like to see this be a 10-point, 13-point type of win, and Raiders win pretty comfortably, and it not come down to a wire against an undrafted quarterback. But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, man, and it's interesting that you said former quarterback Brian Hoyer. That was pretty much the last time he's won a start was with when he quarterbacked the Chicago Bears back on October 16, 2016. When they beat the Lions 17-14. But since then, Brian Hoyer has been 0-12 as a starter. So, but to be fair, I'm not sure if he's ever played with this much talent on offense. Like, I'm not sure if he's ever.
I don't know, man. 12 games? That's a pretty big sample size not to get one.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty bad.
That's terrible, man. That's terrible. That's a long time. He's 37-year-old quarterback. He's been around for a minute, but
he hasn't won a game in 7 years, and he's still in the league.
But what helps on the other side we're playing a undrafted rookie free agent quarterback in Tyson Bagent. He's the fourth D2 QB in the last 20 years to start a game. I thought this was interesting. He finished his collegiate career as an all-time leader in touchdown passes, which is kind of interesting. Like, man, all-time leader in touchdown passes, man, it's great. And you're an undrafted free agent, man. Sometimes it happens like that. But, and, you know, at the end of the day, man, I think that this is an opportunity for the Raiders as well. Sue, we're going against a young QB, doesn't have a huge arm. You could tell last game they used a lot of quick game with him. So you would think, okay, the Raiders D-line, that's probably not going to create a lot of opportunities as far as, you know, getting to the quarterback. He's not going to hold the ball that long. But I would say is Patrick Graham has to figure out a way, or this defense should figure out a way to be aggressive against this young QB. Let him find a way to let him hold the ball in the air, hold the ball in the pocket, I should say, and sack the quarterback. And with him, he's a young QB. He hasn't seen a lot. So think about this. 4th rounder, Aiden O'Connell. You seen what happened. You put him out there when we thought, hey, preseason, he was balling out. He's doing his thing. And then obviously he gets to the game and you're seeing him hold the ball a little bit longer because he's a little confused. He's trying to figure out what this defense is in front of him. So I feel like that's going to be a huge, huge part of this game is which team plays clean football. And you got a veteran and you got a young QB. And I think the Raiders, that's why they probably went with Brian Hoyer as a starter, is because they have more trust in him and protecting the football and running that offense.
Yeah, and they got a good it's going to be a lot different than the defense that he's about to see versus the Raiders. Last week, he got an introduction to Brian Flores, who runs a ton of cover zero, a ton of blitzing, like what you were just talking about. Mm-hmm. He did all right. His offensive line is struggling right now. So I think, honestly, though, I think the Raiders are going to try to get home with 4 situationally blitz. And I think that they're just going to try to disguise a lot of their coverages and test his IQ to see if he can put the football in the right spots. So,
well, as far as blitz percentage, they really don't blitz that much.
The Vikings or Raiders?
No, not the Vikings. Oh, you're talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, I was talking about the Vikings, the Brian Flores defense that the rookie was going against. So,
Brian Flores. That's his name should be right next to the word blitz. Like
Brian Blitz Flores. That could be his name. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's what he just faced. So he got an overwhelming amount of pressure in his first game. I don't think he handled himself all right.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get a little bit different of a taste. You know what I mean? You're going to have to do a lot of check downs this week. And look, we've seen it over the past couple of weeks, right? Look at the game plan against Justin Herbert. You go back last week and to our game plan. There's a lot of checking down, coming up and making tackles. You know what I mean? Not letting things get over the top. We got a guy in DJ Moore, and we'll get into him later with key matchups. But speaking of defense, man, we're going to get into this real quick. And the Raiders are going to be facing the Chicago Bears defensive unit, who's pretty tough, and they run a ton of cover 2. Now, this isn't like your grandpa's Bears cover 2, okay? They do a lot of different things situationally, but we're just going to cover the basics of cover 2. We're not going to dive into it with all the multitude of coverages and things that you could hide inside of cover 2. We're just going to talk about the basics, and we're going to point to some concepts that the Raiders can run and attack to kind of exploit the Chicago Bears defense. Now, the premise of the cover 2, you've got 5 underneath the defenders. So you see the 2 purple defensive backs and you see the 3 yellow highlighted linebackers. Okay. These are 5 guys underneath. They're going to create a lot of opportunity. So a football field is 53 yards and some change wide. Okay. So when you have a 2 high safety look like that, they've got 26 yardish and some change to split up between the 2. When you run a cover 2, you're now minimizing that. You're taking less area that those safeties are going to have to cover mathematically, and you're kind of divvying that down between 5 guys. So each player ultimately tries to cover around 10 yards of field. So you're going to have to play high efficient football. You're going to have to create windows. You're going to have to attack them in the weak spots of the cover 2 defense, and we're going to kind of get into that. So we're going to attack high and low. We're going to attack high and low a lot in the cover 2, man. So thankfully for the Raiders, there's a lot of concepts that is in our offense that we could take advantage of this cover 2 defense. Specifically, we got to start with Dagger. The dagger concept is something Josh McDaniels goes to often. That is his play. It's back-to-back. So regardless, you can just insert a name. This is not player specific. Jacoby Myers, Davante Adams, Trey Tucker, they all run it. They've all ran this route in Josh McDaniels' offense. So the dagger concept, we're going to see it. Okay. We're going to see them take one of the DBs deep. You're going to have a crosser over the middle of the field, attacking in between the linebacker and safety and in the soft area of their zone. So that's going to be easy. We've seen that a million times as a Raider fan. There's not much to talk about there. Stick concept. I kind of brought this up earlier against who was it? Who was it that we were running stick against? Who did we just play last? Remind me.
You said last week?
Yeah.
No, we played the Packers, and then last week we played.
Okay, so it was against the Packers.
No. It wasn't the Packers last week. It was.
No. I know, but I was talking about stick concept because they went up against Detroit, and Detroit was running a ton of sticks. So
yeah,
I just had to remember. There's a lot of footage watching. So, the Packers game is when we seen us run stick.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be doing breaking route. Okay, so you're trying to create space in these zone defenses. You're trying to get space between that linebacker and defensive back. So the stick is a breaking route. You get to sit down in the zone if you get to sit in the zone if it is a zone coverage or if they're showing man out of cover 2. Kind of talking about those variations that we were talking about earlier that you can run inside of a cover 2. If they show man, then that gives you the opportunity to separate and run downfield and hopefully attack the seam and get between the linebacker and safety and hit on a big chunk play. So it's all about creating spaces with stick. You're just getting a guy open up in space. 3 verts. This is simple. Slot receiver lines up, takes the linebacker, runs him into the safety. Safety is now occupied. You're opening up field. You throw 3 verts in there. Now you're creating issues for 2 high safeties. There's obviously 3 guys going deep. Somebody's going to have a one-on-one opportunity. Boom, you take advantage of your one-on-one. Something that we're going to see a lot this game is trips formation, strong side. And look, corner post and the seam is going to be huge. So, Pharaoh, if you want to take your cursor real quick and go over to the far right at the corner, we're going to have a trips formation. Okay. And
can they even see my mouse on the screen?
Maybe in here. Let me try.
I think it might be on your end.
Can you see mine?
Yeah, I can see yours. Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're gonna have trips formations, you guys. Corner post seam. We're gonna be attacking the seam on this, but specifically, I also want to get the corner post involved. So what I mean by that is you're gonna have an outside receiver here. So if this is, let's just say Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers on this duty is to take this defensive back here and run him up into the safety to get this safety to pull with Jacoby. So you're trying to clear out this whole right sideline of space. Mm-hmm. So Jacoby Myers is going to stretch out this defense, pull that safety. The wide receiver lined up in the middle here is going to come up and run a post to the corner. And this is the area that you're going to be targeting in this defense. So you're going to have a clear out here, creating a bunch of space underneath here. You're going to have a guy chasing and following. Boom, you're going to be attacking here. The slot receiver that's lined up inside is going to be attacking vertically to this seam. So what you're doing is you're trying to confuse this safety. What the Raiders are going to try to do is they're going to try to manipulate one of these safeties at all times. So taking Jacoby Myers deep, attacking this seam, safety has to now make a decision. Is he going to roll over here and give the linebacker help as we're attacking this vertically? Or is the safety going to roll over and help this corner out here on this deep out? And that's just going to allow us to attack this corner post. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys an explanation of that.
Sound like whoever the slot receiver and the tight end is going to be eating this game.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunity, and there's going to be a lot of manipulation going on. So I know that Davante is wanting the ball. They're going to have ability to scheme open ways for him to get the ball this week. But
right,
even if you're going for a win, man, you might want to use Davante Adams to manipulate some of these safeties. So we know that they're going to bracket. I think that they're going to bracket Davante, me personally. So he might already garner that attention. So the Raiders probably already know that, and they're already coming up with concepts, which I'm going to get into now, is clear out crossers.
Yeah, your mic went out. Your mic went out. Yeah, man. Hey, and the great thing about this Matt Eberflus coach defense. He's coming from the Colts. He's obviously trying to get this cover 2 zone scheme.
Yep.
They force a lot of turnovers, which they're not doing. They're not forcing a lot of turnovers.
No.
They're struggling against the pass. They're they're 29th worst defense, a total defense. They don't blitz a lot, and guess what? They're literally one of the worst teams in as far as sacks in the league. They have 9 sacks. So this is a game where offensively the Raiders can get it going if Brian Hoyer is able to sit back there and hit his guys. So yeah, man, there's definitely an opportunity.
Yeah. And just 2 more concepts. Clear out crossers. We're going to be able to give them multiple looks. You can do this in multiple variations, 12 personnel, trips. But we're going to be able to create vertical crossers. So we're going to take guys across the seam here. You can stretch them horizontally, not so much vertically, but I'm trying to stretch them horizontal. That way I can get these guys underneath to sit down into this open zone coverage here and to take those quick hitches, those quick, get the ball out. Let's take chunk plays and let's keep the offense moving. The whip route. This is something I see Michael Mayer and Davante Adams going to be able to do a lot this week. So if you've got a tight end lined up in here, you're going to sell the in, and you're going to whip out. One of the receivers out here, you're going to be running a clear out. So they can be running a skinny post out here. They could be running a flood concept, which a flood concept is a different play, but flood is you're going to get a check down here with the tight end out here out in the flats. You're going to get somebody out here running an out, and then you're typically going to have somebody out here running a go. Again, taking this defensive back and this safety out, creating space around here in this open zone. This is going to be your primary read. You're going to look deep, see if the safety takes it. Go to your primary read here. And then if that's not there, you're going to try to look for the check down here in the flats against this linebacker in an open zone area down here in this corner. So overall, you guys, look, the cover 2, you're going to have opportunity to be efficient and clean with moving the offense. And that's something that they've got to do this week. And look, with Josh Jacobs, you've got an opportunity going up against Yannick Ngakoue. If you can't get the run going this week, I don't know what the Raiders are going to do.
Well, actually, they're actually pretty good against the run. They're like 8th in rush defense as far as yards per game. They're only allowing 89.5 yards per game. So, and that's probably not, that has nothing to do with probably Unique. But that being said, it probably has something to do with their linebackers. So they got pretty good linebackers out there. I don't know if you mentioned them, TJ Edwards and
I was going to get into them in a little bit.
Yeah. So they and the guy that they signed from the Bills, I think was it Edmonds as well. So
Tremaine Edmonds. Yeah.
And TJ Edwards might be out playing Edmonds. So that's another thing for them as well, is they're playing well out there, and I know we'll get into it in a second as far as the matchups. But Raider Tiger says, I just don't want to see us run into 8-man box. Hey,
you might see a lot of it early on, man, to be honest with you. So
we'll
see.
They're gonna try to take Josh Jacobs out, but Brian Hoyer, this is where Brian Hoyer comes in, and he needs to make some plays and show us that he knows this offense. He's played in this offense his whole career. Okay, that's cool, that's fine. Now what are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? You got Davante Adams on one side, you got Jacoby Myers, and you guys seen Ray out over here breaking down this defense, man. Make sure to hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button, y'all, and support us so we keep coming back with fire content like this. So subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. But yeah, that being said, I see Michael Mayer. Hey, I want us to continue to feed him the ball, because this seems like this might be a great matchup for him. Yeah,
especially if they're showing different concepts out of cover 2, and hey, if they want to line up Tremaine Edmonds man-to-man on Michael Mayer, I'm more than happy to attack that seam. I think those safeties are going to be pretty preoccupied with the success that Davante and Jacoby have had, that they're going to be pretty busy and pretty focused on trying to take those guys out of the football game, that a guy like Michael Mayer, Trey Tucker on the skinny post, I think a similar concept that what Brian Hoyer hit Trey Tucker with last week, I think you're going to see that again. So Trey Tucker's going to have an opportunity to try to get behind this defense a little bit and to create an explosive play opportunity. So Trey Tucker, Michael Mayer, let's get some of these rookie playmakers involved into this offense.
Do you think they play Renfro at all? Like, do you think they play him at all?
You know, I want to see if they're trying to get trade value, you got to kind of show that he can still kind of do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I wouldn't. That I don't. His snap count has gone down every single week. So
Mhm.
they have slowly just flushed him out of the offense. Which, if you're trying to get trade value for him, especially at a contract like that, you've got to be able to show something. But look, man, these guys that would be trading for Renfro, they've got scouts that are watching the tape. The problem isn't Hunter Renfro. So Hunter Renfro's getting open. So we'll see, man. So I think on tape, Hunter Renfro shows he's more than capable of getting open. It's is there going to be a team that feels like they can go grab Hunter and plug him in immediately? So I don't know, maybe a team like the Saints, with this connection with Derek Carr or
Nah, I don't
no.
think they're going to be making any moves for Derek Carr. Man, that dude is struggling. Man, that offense is struggling. And man, that's a whole different conversation. Everybody is like killing him right now on social media. Did you see that breakdown of Carr? I don't know if I know you watched the game. You probably watched the game a little bit.
I watched a little bit. Yeah, I caught a little bit of it.
Man, it's not looking too good, and they got 10 days off until the next game. So this is going to be on their minds for the next 10 days. And man, they're locked in for 4 years with Derek Carr. It's tough contract. And I looked at their. And now we talked about this before about the Saints. They're over the cap. 87 million.
Well, yeah. Next year. I was gonna say this year. I know that they created some room just so. Hey, they just keep pushing the bill, man. They just keep kicking the can down the road. That's what they keep doing. So eventually, they're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah. But my guy, Daniel Kim is back, man. I appreciate you coming through.
Daniel, it's your son's birthday, man. You don't have to be donating to us.
Yeah, man. Hey, have fun with your son, man. Sending my support here to a win tomorrow over the Bears. Family's over to celebrate my oldest son's 7th B-Day. Hey, man, I'm going to give you the A, man. We celebrate today, man.
Yeah, we
it's
celebrate
your son's birthday. Hey, man. Happy birthday, man, to your son, man. Hey, man, enjoy your time with your family, man. Appreciate you coming through and appreciate the support as always, man. Daniel Kim in the building. But yeah, man, Renfro, that's going to be so interesting before the trade deadline's coming up. And I kind of liked how Hoyer was able to distribute the ball. So I wonder how that's going to look like if, let's say, Renfro balls out.
Did you catch his interview that they did in the locker room?
Who with
Renfro?
Well, what happened? Tell me.
They brought up the trade speculation. Man, Hunter Renfro reminds me of like an adopted puppy, bro. Like, he was so professional. He was so nice about it. And he's just like, I'm just going to go out there and see, like, you never know when it's the last time playing with your teammates. And I'm just here to, I just, dude, it felt like an adoption puppy, bro. Just like looking at me through a cage or something. And I'm like, man, I feel bad for him, dude. Like,
yeah.
It is what it is, though.
It's a tough situation, man. He signed an extension with this team. And at the time, his boys were there. You know what I mean? Darren Waller, Derek Carr. This offense was supposed to be like, one of the best out there last year, and injuries and production and just not a good fit for this offense. We thought McDaniels was we thought he was the guru, man, especially with slot receivers and tight ends and being an offensive genius. Guess what? We're averaging like 15, 16 points a game. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And then right now, and I shout out to Sanjeev. He pointed this out, and it makes a lot of sense too as well. Is you have Davante Adams, and let's be honest, do you feel like Jacoby Myers is a better player than Renfro?
Right now? Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So they have him on the other side, on the outside, and he can play inside. They can play. There's that versatility, and he has the size. So it's like, okay, they got a better player there. And then you got two kind of, I don't want to say possession guys, but like you would want that inside guy to have a little bit more. I see what they were thinking, with DeAndre Carter, speed, Trey Tucker, speed. So they wanted a receiver to complement the Jacoby Myers and the Davante Adams, which they technically did when they made those moves. But you got a guy like Renfro who kind of is like the odd man out. And it's,
Well, what struggles for Renfro, I think, is obviously the lack of run blocking ability for this system. So
Mhm.
Jacoby Myers is able to line up strong side and help chip, and he does really good at it. I don't know if you guys got to see the film last week, but yeah, nasty blocks by Jacoby Myers. They like that from their physical receivers. That's why Matt Collins had success with this Raiders offense. He was able to find the field a lot because how much we ran the football, and he was part of that. You know what I mean? Helping seal the edge, and so that they like that out of their perimeter wide receivers. So Jacoby Myers fits that like a glove, and he's playing the best ball of his.
Well, all I know is when Jimmy G's out there, we know who he's going to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
At this, like, until he shows us otherwise, he just, we know Davante Adams, Jacoby Myers, and then dink it to Josh Jacobs, whoever the running back is in. He was dinking it to Zamir White. You know what I mean? Like, and then we seen Hoyer last week, and he was kind of distributing the ball. So I'm like, okay. So what happens if Renfro? Hey, this game might be a game where Renfro might get some. You know,
maybe. I think at least try him in the red zone. You've been garbage, you know what I mean? So, but there's been opportunities that just haven't been effective. Like Hoyer's pass to Davante Adams, he didn't even give him a chance, really. You know what I mean? You got to throw that more back shoulder. You got to at least like give Davante the opportunity to go out there and grab it. You know what I mean? Don't throw it out of bounds. They had one on Michael Mayer that he just didn't throw the ball. Michael Mayer could have had a touchdown. Michael Mayer could have had well over 100 yards last week and a score. Like that dude had, he showed up to play. So I'm excited about him. I really am. I think if the Raiders find the answer at quarterback, I think, dude, this offense is going to be tough because Michael Mayer's a stud.
Yeah, facts. Avocazzi Raider man comes through. My guy.
What's going on, Avocazzi?
Was good. He said, such a shame we're talking about Trey Toss for Renfro. Ridiculous how he's been used since his injury and the regime change. Yeah, it is what it is, man. Sometimes it's a lot of politics, a lot of like, system fits at the end of the day. Like I thought, McDaniels knew what to do with slot receivers. I thought that's
I think I really do think he does. Like I said earlier, he's getting open. The problem isn't Renfro. Like Renfro, it's the QB. It's the ability to read and assess what's going on out there. So yeah, Hunter Renfro, man, or at least early on in the season when he was getting more reps, like he was putting it on film. He was able to get open. So
hey, and we gonna get back on topic, but man, and going back to what you were saying earlier, if Brian Hoyer scores out to 35 points,
I don't know how you go back to Jimmy.
That. Imagine if Brian Hoyer scores 35 points. How do you go back to Jimmy G?
It's not gonna happen, bro. That's not gonna happen.
Whether it's AOC or Hoyer, right now we know Hoyer's a starter, so he's gonna be playing. But if the offense scores that many points and we go back to Jimmy G and he stinks it up against Detroit, we cannot.
There's a real possibility that, look, when you're a spot starter in the situation that Hoyer was in last week, a lot of guys can come in and look pretty good. It's the moving forward, and this Bears defense has a ton of history, with Brian Hoyer. I don't know how many guys in that building now have history with him, but that organization does. It's not going to be hard to go back and find the tendencies there. But when he is starting a game now, there's a possibility going into halftime, if he's turned the football over twice, say as a fumble and a pick, or maybe even 2 picks, and it's like a nail biter game, or the Raiders are even behind, they might. Aiden O'Connell still might play. So
right.
So I'm not ruling that out either. So we still might see Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. So let's get into the matchups, man. We kind of been a little bit going off topic, but let's go talk about the key matchups of the game. Raiders and Bears. Davante Adams for me and versus Jalen Johnson. I think Davante Adams, he's ready for a big game. And like I said, we talked about earlier, Ray, he broke down that cover 2 defense that the Bears like to run. Matt Eberflus, he comes from the Colts, runs that zone, wants to rely on front 4 pressure to get there, and they're not getting there. And you got a guy like Davante Adams, who I feel like, man, with all these comments, I think he's due for it's my time to get the ball now. Like, I think he could possibly have a big game. Brian Hoyer is going to be the starter. He's going to find ways to get on the ball. Like, I'm not mistaking Brian Hoyer for Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying that, but I just feel like they're going to be moving him around. And I know the Bears on their end, they're saying like, well, we got Jalen Johnson. He's having a pretty good year. But look, Davante Adams is one of 4 receivers in NFL history to compile at least 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns in a career against the Bears. So he owns the Bears. This is his team. He's familiar with the Bears. This is his team. I know Aaron Rodgers is quarterback, but he's going to want to have a big game this week. So I feel like that's going to be a big matchup. I'm not saying it's one of those, Davante Adams going against a young rookie. It's not one of those. Jalen Johnson is a pretty good quarterback. And,
Yeah.
I know Eberflus is going to have some type of game plan to take him out the game. I just feel like Davante Adams is going to have a big game. Look, he did it against the Steelers. You can feed him the ball at will, and he'll get the job done. So I think that's going to be a big matchup
Well, the good thing about this offense, when you're looking at the positives, they're going to move Davante all over. So Jalen's not going to consistently get matched up with Davante. So when I was talking about you can line up Davante in the slot and attack the seam, beat that linebacker and split the safety, you could connect on big shots down the middle of the field. So, yeah, man, I think Davante, especially the dagger concept, something that he's great at running, connect on it all the time in this offense. Yeah, I think you're 100% spot on. This could be a game. This could be one of those games Davante has 130 and 2 touchdowns.
I just have that feeling, man. Like it's like he's gonna have a big game.
Hey, I'm here for it. I'm gonna go to Michael Mayer, and I'm gonna do the matchup between Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards.
Okay,
these are 2 good linebackers, 2 linebackers that the Bears went out and paid. Michael Mayer coming off the best game of his rookie campaign so far. He's going to try to build off of momentum, and he's going to have opportunity for big chunk plays in this game, specifically whip routes. He can do all the underneath stuff. He's getting good at blocking. He's going, like we predicted at the beginning of the year, he's going to eventually overtake Austin Hooper, and I think last week that was the genesis of that. So we're going to see Michael Mayer kind of build off of the performance that he had last week. I expect him to attack this defense vertically, attack those seams, give me that big, like I'm just bigger than you. Attack the seam, split the safety, go up, body a linebacker. That's what I'm hoping to see out of Michael Mayer. So, yeah, man, Davante Adams and Michael Mayer, I think that they're going to be 2 guys to watch this week.
And, hey, I'm going with Max Crosby. I think I can go with him. Like every week, Max Crosby is always going to be a key matchup in this game. And he's going against the Bears rookie tackle, Darnell White, right? And you know what? He might even be going against that left tackle. His name is not on my mind for some reason, but
Larry Borum.
Yeah, and you were talking about earlier, like he's not good. He's not good at all. And Max Crosby, right now, he leads the league in a very, very key stat, and he has 38 QB pressures right now, and it kind of matches his style, man. He is high octane, high motor,
relentless,
not nonstop, relentless. And right now he leads the league in 38 QB pressures, and we could see it right now. He's balling out, and if the Raiders continue to play right now, the Raiders are total defense is 11th in the league.
It's that pass defense for the most part.
We know this defense needs more talent. Yeah. And shout out to Patrick Graham. Stay in the booth, and don't come down to the sideline, because ever since he went into the booth, he's been playing well. Or the defense has been playing well, but part of that is also Max Crosby's been a big part of the success of this defense. They've been moving him around, so that's why I'm like, okay, right tackle down there, right. Then you got the left tackle. Doesn't matter. I think it's a big matchup in this game against a rookie QB. I think, this is where a game where you kind of can predict maybe, Max Crosby might have like what, 3+ sacks. 4 or 5.
Yeah. Outside of the 5+ sack game that you told me about before the show, I genuinely think Max has a real opportunity based off of the talent he's about to go against, especially a beat up Darnell Wright, and then you've got Larry Borum on the other side, and I'll get to him in this next series. But look, Max could probably have a career game. Like, he could have a crazy game this week if he's healthy enough. I know on his podcast he alluded to like last week, and at halftime, he didn't know that Jimmy was hurt because he was getting his knee drained. So obviously there's something going on with his knee that he's getting it drained at halftime. So he's dealing with some things, but hey man, if we can get Max Crosby playing at the same level he's been playing at, he could have a big game. So I like that. I like that you brought that up because I'm going to stick to left tackle Larry Borum for the Bears. Struggled last week. Struggles to stay on his feet. This is one of those guys. Reminds me a lot of when we had Brandon Parker. And it's not to take shots at Brandon Parker. It just is what it is on film. The guy found the ground a lot. You know what I mean? It was like a magnet pulling him to the ground a lot. So Larry Borum is just like that. He just finds a way to fall a little bit. He's a little uncoordinated with his feet. So Raiders have to take advantage of that, and I think that Tyree Wilson could actually get his first sack of the season against the Chicago Bears. Hopefully get a quarterback that's holding on to the football long enough, take advantage of his power, his length, and hopefully not only get a sack, but able to get his long arms in there. I think it's an underappreciated aspect of Tyree's game that once he starts getting consistent pressures and those turn into sacks, he's got such a long wingspan that he's really going to be able to get his hand on footballs right when quarterback is about to throw the ball. And I think he has an opportunity to be one of those turnover guys that generates a lot of turnovers for the defense. So hopefully Tyree Wilson can get his hand on a football and get home this week, because when it comes to the tackle situation, the Raiders have a remarkable matchup this week.
Yeah, no doubt. Pass rush is going to be huge, especially going against a rookie quarterback, man. And this is where, and also another game where, turnovers is going to be huge.
Huge.
Patrick Graham got to be in his bag. He got to be in his bag. He has to throw all types of looks, and he's going to have fun with it, because this is a guy. At the end of the day, he's an undrafted rookie free agent. He hasn't seen a lot, and that's partly the reason why we're not seeing AOC out there tomorrow, because McDaniels is probably concerned because he wants to win. The Raiders right now, they want to win. They don't want to put a young rookie. As much as we don't want to hear that, I would want AOC out there, but they want to win at all costs, and they feel like a veteran is going to give them the best chance to win. And when you have a rookie out there, there's going to be growing pains. They haven't seen all types of defense, the speed of the game. Like, there's so many things, so many factors.
Well, I think I think this was scheme specific why they went Brian Hoyer, as much as it was him coming in and doing a good performance, which is why that was carrying over into practice, that competition. Because when you're going up against a defense like the Chicago Bears, you really do have to be highly efficient. Like, the opportunities are going to be there, but you have to be able to see them and hit them. Mm-hmm. So with AOC being a rookie, with them being able to disguise that cover 2 quite a bit and manipulate coverage, you're going to have to know what you're actually looking at. So I think that's why they went the veteran route, because there's not much you're going to throw at Brian Hoyer that he hasn't seen, at least.
Yep.
Now, to say that he's going to be effective against it, that's a whole nother conversation. But
right,
this is going to be a game where Brian Hoyer is going to have to be a game manager, take what they give you, but also kind of go get what you want. Also, like, you're going to have to get aggressive and attack them vertically. So it's going to be fun.
It's not like we're playing against 2000 Baltimore defense out there. Like,
no,
they're struggling on the back end. I mean, they're struggling as far as stopping the pass. So, Brian Hoyer, he's going to have to take advantage of that. And hey, man, I'm not really betting on Brian Hoyer, but I am kind of like, I like the idea of his experience in the offense.
Yes,
with all of the weapons at his disposal. That's what I like. I'm not saying Brian Hoyer is going to be the next, you name it, great quarterback. Now, I'm not saying that. He's 37-year-old backup quarterback, career journeyman, or, just a backup quarterback in general. And he's look, Josh McDaniels had to talk him out of retirement. He was pretty much done with the league. But that being said, I do like the idea of, like, okay, we kind of seen that experience when he got on the field. And then now, like, man, we're talking about Hunter Renfrow getting the ball. We're talking about Trey Tucker. We're talking about, and we can see it happening.
How much criticism is Josh going to get? Because you alluded to a stat earlier that was pretty shocking to me, was he's 0-12 in his last, 13 games that he's started.
0-12.
So with that being known, if we go out here and lay an egg against a 1-4, 1-5 Chicago team, I believe they're 1-5 Chicago team, man, like, I know that you said that they're feeling the pressure and they're feeling the hot seat, but if you go out here and lose this game, like, that's tough.
Yeah, and Raider Room is probably going to be indirectly going to answer the question. He says over or under 23 carries for JJ. So he's kind of alluding, like, hey, look, we might need to give the ball to Josh Jacobs a little bit more, even though the Bears are 8th in stopping the run. So, we're going to have to lean on Josh Jacobs. He's going to have to make some guys miss. But every now and then, Hoyer has to keep the defense honest, and he can make it happen. Even against defense that play well against the run, the way you beat them, if you're going to take them out the box, if you're going to win up front, the Raiders have a chance. And I think this team right now we're not playing against a good team at all. But at the same time, the Raiders, we got to be honest, we're still a team that's trying to figure out what our situation is too as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to struggle with the running offense just because the Bears have a big physical front. Like, those guys are big and powerful, and they're like, we got a former familiar face, Andrew Billings. We all are familiar with him. Great run stuffer, big, physical, strong, and going up against Andre James, Dylan Parham, Van Roten, if he's healthy, right? He's healthy to go. Van Roten. So, I mean, this is a big physical front, so I think we're going to still have struggles in the run game. But I would say Raider room, the over-under on this depends on how efficient the offense is moving. Yeah. If the Raiders actually get more than, 10 plays and a half in, then, yeah, I'm going to say that we're probably going to hit the over. But if we're struggling to generate first downs, like last week, the Chicago Bears were 2 of 13 on third down. So their third down defense was tight last week. So if we're not going to be able to convert on moving the chains, it might be turning into Brian Hoyer throwing the ball a lot. And that's probably going to lead to turnovers, which the Raiders have had in every single game this year. So,
yeah, if we're able to start fast and mix it up with the run game and get a lead early, then you could see how, like, later in the game they're going to be handing the ball off to, like, Josh Jacobs if they're up early. But we'll see how it shakes out. But are you done with your matchups?
I'll hit on two just real quick here. Javon Dexter versus Dylan Parham. I think Dylan Parham struggles with big, powerful guys. I think Dylan Parham has an issue with strength. So Javon Dexter.
Shout out Cole Miller.
Yeah, exactly. I think Dylan Parham might have some struggles with him. DJ Moore and Marcus Peters. We got to figure something out with that matchup. So
yep,
they've got to do something because
that's a huge matchup. That's their number one. We know all about DJ Moore. I think he had that game on Thursday Night Football where he had like 8 catches for over 200 yards and he had 3 or 4 touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns at least. And he literally had the majority of Justin Fields' completion. Like, it was crazy. Like, he was the offense. And I agree 100% that's going to be a big matchup for sure.
Yeah, and they're going to line him up on that side because Raiders corners don't move. So they're going to put him up against Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters is going to line up off the ball. He's been lining up off the ball 8 yards. They might have to move him back 15 yards to cover DJ Moore. Like, that dude is just too fast. He's got too much speed. So yeah, that's something to be careful with. And with this young quarterback coming in here, he's going to get risky. He's going to be able to take a shot or two. So you got to watch that DJ Moore matchup with Marcus Peters.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I forgot about that one. That's going to be a huge matchup for sure. Yeah, man. And that pretty much wraps up the key matchups of the game. There's probably more matchups, obviously, but these are the ones that caught our eye, and we wanted to talk to you about it. But let's talk about the keys to the game. Keys to the game, man, in order to win this game. Start off, Ray.
All right. So first and foremost, man, red zone efficiency. That is, if Josh McDaniels has one thing of this offense that he needs to fix, you got to start being efficient in the red zone. If you're not putting up these gaudy numbers, when you get an opportunity to put 7 on the board, you've got to do it. There's no excuse for it. You've got to be able to scheme these guys open. You've got to be able to open up this playbook a little bit. And that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But to sum it all up, man, red zone efficiency, 1 of 6 last week. We've got to be able to find a way to convert these. Get your tight ends involved. Let them get one-on-one opportunities to go up there and make a play. Get your playmakers out in space. You know what I mean? A little bit more rub route concepts. There's a multitude of ways, guys. We could sit here and talk about a multitude of ways to get the red zone offense attack kind of going. It's an issue around the league right now. I get that. But let's not make the league's issue our issue. You know what I mean? Let's fix it, and let's be the team that gets it figured out. So we've got Davante Adams. We've got all the weapons. We've got this offensive genius calling the plays. So let's get that figured out.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. And this is a game where they can get it going. The Bears are 31st in red zone touchdown percentage allowed. So they when teams are getting in the red zone, they're not stopping them. They're scoring touchdowns on them. So this is definitely a game where the offense can get their game going in the red zone. So yeah, that's going to be a big key. I would say also is protect that football. I mean, right now the Raiders are second in the league with 11 turnovers. They're right behind the Vikings, who the Bears just played. So I think right now is for the Raiders right now, let's have a clean football game. We've had a turnover every game this year. So, hey, if we can protect the football on the road, I think we're going to have a good chance to win in this game, especially against a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, and speaking about turnovers, looking at the Raiders' defensive side of the football, we've had turnovers in the last 3 games. We're going against an undrafted free agent quarterback. You've got to go out there and take advantage of that. You've got to be opportunistic, give him some looks he's never seen, and that all starts up front for me. So keys to the game, relentless pressure. You're going up against Larry Borum, a left tackle who has no business in the same realm as Max Crosby. And to be honest with you, Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree Wilson match up extremely well against him. And then you're going up against a beat-up rookie in Darnell Wright. You've got to take advantage off the edge here. You got to get this rookie to maybe hold on to the ball longer than what he wants to. And the Raiders are doing very good in pass coverage this year. Make him hold on, pat that football a little bit, allow Max, allow Tyree, Malcolm, and these guys in the interior to get home a little bit. And hopefully we can generate turnovers, strip sacks, interceptions, tip throws. So, yeah, relentless pressure.
Yep. And OG has a quick key to the game. He says, I have a game plan for the Raiders this week, and it's pretty oh,
I seen Matt comment, and he said, in depth or inept? Let us know, OG. What is your game plan?
Hey, man. Hey, look. Hey, you know what? I'm pretty open-minded about tomorrow's game. I'm kind of curious to see what Brian Hoyer can do. I'm gonna be honest with you. Every season, every year, obviously the Raiders, we go out, we believe in the team, and sometimes it doesn't go our way as fans are watching the game. But this is kind of a game where I'm kind of curious to see what Brian Hoyer can do. With this offense, with the weapons at his disposal, with the game plan, with I'm assuming, hopefully, McDaniels. We always question this about him playing to the strength of his quarterback. Do we start seeing some plays that Brian Hoyer is good at running, or are we just going to see the offense?
You're going to see the offense, and the offense has everything to do with Brian Hoyer and the wide receivers being on time and attacking. So you got to hit the windows. You've got to, and a lot of time it's time on task, man. These guys have a lot of built-in, choice routes and everything that they're running. So, Brian Hoyer is going to have to be on the same page as his receivers. He's got to know where he's going to go. If he's getting a zone look and he's getting his back, he's going to know that Davante is going to break it out, into an out route, or, it just, the list is so multitude. It's a multitude of options in situations, but Brian Hoyer has to be on the same page with his guys. So I think you're going to see the exact same offense that we've seen for the past 7 weeks, 6 weeks. And it's going to be up to Brian Hoyer to be efficient and them to be on the same page. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah. Mr. Marty Mart in the building. He says this is a get right, stat filler, and slump buster game. Okay. Yeah. Hey, I kind of agree with that a little bit. Like, this is a game where we can possibly improve in the red zone because it's a team that struggles. This is a game where offensively, when we kind of go out there, I think, with Brian Hoyer having his experience in this offense, can possibly, get multiple receivers involved. Hey, we can possibly, and it's not a good team at the end of the day. And we're going against an undrafted rookie free agent QB. Come on, man. But I will say this, not to throw no shade at the Raiders, man, but the last three rookie QBs we've lost against. We got Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields. I think who's the third? Is this the third? The last 2 or 3?
No, it was last 3. There was somebody in there.
There's somebody in there. There's another rookie QB that we lost against.
And they weren't very good.
Not good at all. But that being said, I still feel like the Raiders have a good chance of winning this game. Let's get into let's predict the score. This is a good game to predict the score.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go first. Or I can go first.
Yeah, you're going first. Yeah, you're going
all right. Okay. Last week we were able to break the 20-point barrier. I think this year, I think it'll be This game, I think it will be 24-9.
Oh,
24-9. Raiders win
I'm gonna go
on the road against the Bears.
I'm gonna go 23-17 with a pretty decisive defensive stop to kind of end everything. So
Okay. You said 23
23-17.
23-17. Okay. So it's going to be a close game. Raider Way says 24-10. Okay. Hey man, great minds think alike, man. You off by like 1 point. I feel like you know what's crazy though? The Raiders like to play that bend but don't break defense.
Yeah.
And this rookie QB, he doesn't have a big arm. He's gonna play the quick game a lot. You think it kind of plays to what the Raiders want to play on defense, or do you feel like that kind of?
I think he could have moments where he flashes and has success. I think where the Bears are going to find success is actually running the ball and getting the ball out in space to DJ Moore.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see DJ Moore, especially if they get in the red zone or a big chunk play where he can take 37, 38 yards to the house and just separate from guys. Really, man, the DJ Moore gets one, and they have a rushing touchdown. There's 14 points. Maybe give them a field goal here. That's where I've got that 23-17 type of game. So I think it's going to be closer. I think it's going to be closer to what people think. I would like the Raiders to kind of put their foot down on somebody's throat here eventually, but
step on their neck.
Yeah, until they do that, I can't say that they will do it this game.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right though. They're really good at running the ball. They're like number 6 in rushing.
Yeah.
In the rushing offense. So yeah, man, that's pretty much our thoughts on the game, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. This has been a great show. Man, we got 20-10 from OG. We got 21-17 from DeMarcus Webb.
Yeah, you think it's gonna be close too? I just
24-10. Okay, me and Raph on the same page. Let's go. Mr. Marty Mart says not to mention a first game QB. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, but that's on Patrick Graham on his defense to take advantage of this QB. Like, come on, man. We cannot let these rookie QBs win another game. Come on, man. We got to be what Belichick is to rookie QBs. Every time I see Belichick going against a rookie QB, I already know that rookie QB is going to have like 5 interceptions, sacked 7 times. Hopefully he's one of those games. OG says, I have an in-depth take on our game plan. Okay. Well, you know what, man? We gotta head out, man. But email it to Ray. I think Ray will be able to gladly go over it with you.
Yeah, or after this video, OG, drop it in the comments section. I can pin it and we can bring it up after the game.
Oh, there you go, man. Hey, yeah, exactly. We appreciate everybody commenting in the chat. By the way, if we didn't get to it, make sure to leave a comment down below, man. We look at all the comments. We appreciate the support. We respond to it. If there's a back and forth, we got no problem with it. We'll go back and forth as well. So it's not about agreeing or disagreeing, just having that discussion. Mr. Marty Mart says 29-16 Raiders. Refs keep Bears from getting blown out. Okay.
I would love to see that.
Man, okay.
I would love to see that.
I would love to see a blowout, but I could see the refs trying to make it a game. You know what I mean? But it's not a nationally televised game too, by the way. So
I think we have to, not to extend the show, but we just have to keep in consideration it is Brian Hoyer. Let's not take a few explosive, like he had the explosive play to Trey Tucker, and I think that sticks in our mind. But there was a lot of opportunities in the red zone that he actually missed. So we gotta be careful.
Hey, a Raider for life. I tried to call a sack for him like a couple weeks ago. It didn't happen. He says Tyree has a game on this one. I hope so.
Of all the games this year, this is the best opportunity for him to get a sack
because of that left tackle.
Yeah,
that left tackle. Hey, we'll see. Or Kuntz could get on the action as well, man. Like he's been playing well. I mean, he's not been able to finish and get a sack, but he's been pressuring the quarterback. So Kuntz, Tyree Wilson, whoever you name it, man, this is a game that they can probably get their game going. And yeah, man, hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Yeah, man, I know it's a 10 a.m. game for us on the West Coast.
1 p.m. for me. It's good.
1 p.m. You're good, man.
I think it's a local. I think it might even be showed on local TV here. So.
Oh,
So,
even better for you.
my feet are kicked up. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Even better, man. Raider Ray says, great show, man. Appreciate it.
We
Hey, we
appreciate
appreciate
y'all, man.
coming through, man.
Yep.
We gonna wrap it up. Any last thoughts, man?
Nah, man. You know what it is, man. We're moving in a positive direction. Let's go get a big win, man. Let's get above 500, 4-3. Let's head in to the Detroit Lions game with a much anticipated show next Tuesday and Saturday. Heading into Detroit. It's gonna be big, man. So let's create some buzz, man. Let's create something to be excited about. Let's go on a little 3-game win streak here, and let's see if the Raiders can get a win, man. So you know how to close them out.
All right, y'all, man. Till next time. Hey, Raiders got to win.
Just win, baby.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Believe that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future. Just win, baby.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.